Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of... what was the name of our podcast again?
Chatting Pitch.
Oh, thank you for reminding me, sir. You are joined with me, Leslie, and...
Me, Matt.
Thank you very much.
And we are on episode... Is this episode 2?
Yeah, I said it. Twice.
Who knows anymore?
Podcast so nice, they named it twice. That's what they say. No, that's couscous, isn't it? Food so nice,
yeah.
They named it twice. Great start to the podcast.
Yeah, great start as always.
Yeah. If you're listening, you may have been listening to the podcast already because we're on episode 2. If not, welcome. If you didn't know what we do, we talk about random stuff, and most of it is to do with film. But you might be thinking, oh, chatting pitch. Well, what's that all about? Well, we chat, but we're also pitching movie ideas to each other. But they are movie ideas that don't exist yet, but they do exist in a way because they're drawn from films that exists. Come on, Matt, dig me out of this hole. I don't know where I'm going with this.
We like to imagine that maybe the other person is a high-level Hollywood executive, and we're like, hey, man, in your suit without a tie, because that's what I imagine high-level Hollywood executives look like. Would you like to make our movie? And of course, movies being quite derivative, we like to think of just ideas that have already been done. Like this week, where we'll just be dropping one character from a famous film, and we'll be dropping them into another very famous film, and we're just going to see what happens. And we're going to pitch those ideas to each other. It's going to be great.
That is correct. And last week, what we did was we had good old Tony Stark from the Iron Man, and he dropped himself into Castaway with Tim Tam Slam. Remember that? You ever done the Tim Tam Slam?
Yeah, the old. Yeah, they called him that after he won his second Oscar. He's the Tim Tam Slam.
And every time he wins the Oscar, he just goes like, Tim Tam Slam, out! And he drops the Oscar. It breaks in half.
And he slams the mic. He slams the Oscar into the floor.
Anyway, no, it was Tom Hanks, and it was what if Iron Man turned up during Castaway, and some funny stuff happened, didn't it? We had some funny things to talk about.
We had some funny things. He dropped by. And, I mean, he pretty much saved the day, didn't he?
Pretty much.
I think, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
So what have we got for this episode?
Yeah, this episode, it's a bit of a last-minute decision because we had a few ideas floating around, and then we just thought, yeah, you know what? Well, stop the presses, mate. Why don't we have good old Liam Neeson's up in this Taken, and he goes into the... what was the other one? Come on, help me out here.
For those of you who speak English, Leslie is saying he is going to take Liam Neeson from Taken, and he is going to drop him into Home Alone.
Oh!
Starring MaCaulay Culkin.
MaCaulay
Culkin, and we're going to drop him into MaCaulay Culkin's house. Well, we're going to drop him just outside the house. And I suppose, is he working with the two thieves that are trying to get in, or is he working separately?
No, he's working solo. He's working solo. So,
but the thieves are there at the same time.
Yeah. But then, at the same time, when I pitched this idea, when we were chatting this pitch, we decided to do two versions. One version would be, what happens if Liam Neeson tries to get into MaCaulay Culkin's house? But then, the other way, what happens if MaCaulay Culkin has been thrown into all this mix during Taken? Is that the idea that you had? I
think, yeah, the general gist of it was what happens if Kevin McAllister was Liam Neeson's son in Taken. So instead of him having...
I thought you just meant he was just there.
I was thinking it would be great if... Yeah, we'll talk about it in more detail when we get there. But yeah, okay. I was thinking, what happens if instead of the first plot of Taken, you have that movie, but instead it's actually Kevin McAllister that's been dropped. That's been kidnapped, rather, not dropped.
Yeah. Because everyone knows when you drop a child, they end up quite hurt. So you don't want to do that.
There's our little PSA for you.
Yeah.
Don't drop children. Episode 2! So what is Liam Neeson's character in Taken actually called? Because I just call him Liam Neeson.
Isn't it like
Let's look it up. What have we got? Brian Mills. That's why I don't remember the name, because it's an incredibly generic name.
Jesus Christ, his name was Brian Mills. I thought it was something like Sharp Slater or something like that, or something cool.
Yeah, knife, death, kill. But no, I am Brian Mills. Sounds like a guy you'd maybe buy hardware off.
Yeah.
Like, hey, yeah, Brian's going to be here. He's going to show you what sort of wood you want to use to build that entertainment unit you've been talking about. And then Brian will come along and...
Brian knows the stuff.
Brian knows all the woods. He knows all the woods. He knows your cedar. He knows your oak. And all the other woods.
I'm kind of picturing Liam Neeson just with an apron on now, pretending like he's working at Wix or something.
Or like a nice green, there's like a nice dark green apron with a white print.
Yeah.
And he's got a little name badge that says Brian. And it's spelt wrong, because his Brian is Bryan, but it's spelt Brian. But he doesn't mind. He just likes to help people.
Yeah. Moving on, mate. So a good old Brian. Is it Brian Mills? Is it Brian Mills?
It's Brian.
So why is he trying to get into MaCaulay Culkin's house? So we must establish the scene, and the scene was that it's Christmas Day. Was it Christmas Day or Christmas Eve? One of the two.
So Home Alone. Accidentally left home by his family during Christmas vacation.
So it's not specifically.
That's all IMDb is telling me.
Okay.
Internet Movie Database, my butt. Yeah, it's the Christmas holidays. It's snowy.
Mm-hmm.
Father Christmas turns up.
He gets left alone by accident, so he is home alone. So Liam Neeson is trying to get into the house because he thinks his daughter is in that house. Right?
Yeah, he's heard like rumblings of like something's going on in this house, and he automatically thinks that must be my daughter. So he goes there to help.
So what are the remember the traps that MaCaulay Culkin's had? How, because Brian, he's got obviously a particular set of skills. These skills could probably overcome every single obstacle that MaCaulay Culkin has, right? But
I mean, the big ones that I remember are the tubs of paint, and there were bowling balls at one point.
Were there bowling balls?
Am I remembering that right?
I think there were marbles. I remember there were marbles on the floor, and they slipped on them.
I'm going to look it up, but I swear there's a bit where...
Oh, man. It's been a very long time since I've watched Home Alone.
There's a bit where Kevin McAllister, I'm sure, he makes it so that they get hit in the head with bowling balls.
Yeah.
Because even as a kid, I remember, oh my God, I found a picture of Joe Pesci getting his head set on fire. There's that.
Yeah. There's also the bit where he puts like a tack on the doorbell, and then...
Yeah.
Do you think Liam Neeson would even ring the doorbell? I don't think he would he?
No.
Because if he's trying to get into that house, he's going to get into that house no matter what.
Yeah. And if he's being polite, I think he's a knocking man anyway. You know?
So I guess he skips the thumbtack. The doorknob, they heat the doorknob, don't they? So that if they try to open it...
I think he's kicking that door.
I think he just kicks it down, yeah. So he busts the door down, and that also knocks down a bunch of other traps that MaCaulay Culkin's probably set up. Okay, here we go. Every single Home Alone 1 booby trap. Why don't we just go through this list, and then we'll see like how will Liam Neeson tackle this. So, feathers to the face. They just get a bunch of feathers all over the face.
Don't they get stuck to them as well?
I think so. He gets he gets poured a bunch of sticky substance all over them. So if you ever watched Taken, like spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it before, and also spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen Home Alone before. I'm sure there are people out there, but you probably know the general gist of the movie anyway. Liam Neeson, he's pretty much invincible in this movie, right?
He's pretty much unstoppable. Although now he's in the Home Alone universe and he's an adult, does that make him a bit more cartoonish now?
Because they can either be equally matched to be as powerful as each other, or they could be equally weak. What is it going to be?
What about if Brian Mills is trying to get in the house because he's trying to help Kevin McAllister, but Kevin McAllister doesn't realize?
So he's actually trying to kill him off.
Yeah, so he's not trying to like kill Kevin McAllister. He's trying to get in. He's like, "Hey, I'm trying to help you." Whack with a paint tin.
Oh, so it's not turning into Home Alone becomes serious. It's turned into Taken being slapstick.
Yeah.
So like Liam Neeson's just going through. Sorry, Brian Mills comes through the door. And he's like, "I'm trying to help you, kid," and then bonk in the head with a paint bucket.
It's nice to hear what Brian Mills would sound like if he was played by Seth Rogen as well. That's quite nice.
Chicken fries.
And then a bowling ball hits him in.
It's like, oh, I've turned into the man at the beginning of the SpongeBob SquarePants theme song.
Yeah.
Oh!
What a movie that would be. So does he try knocking on the door this time? Or does he just smash through? I still think he kicks the door down.
I think he kicks the door down, but maybe as a result, he gets feathers all over him. And he's like, oh no, my vision's been compromised a little bit.
Right.
The next one is toy cars on the floor. And so they kind of like slip on all over the toy cars and trucks on the floor. I guess that wouldn't be an issue because he could just walk over the door now.
The door's been kicked down, yeah.
The door's been kicked down.
Or if he saw them on the floor, I feel he would use them. He'd maybe kick them at the burglars or something. Because I suppose he's trying to fight off the burglars while trying to convince Kevin McAllister.
Oh, the burglars are here as well. I thought it was the...
Yeah, the burglars are still here.
I was assuming it was Liam Neeson instead of the burglars. So, like,
no.
MaCaulay Culkin thought the burglars were coming in, but it's just Liam Neeson coming in to try and help him.
Yeah, but he's trying to help him because he knows there are burglars.
Oh.
And he's like, he's just a little... You know, Brian Mills is thinking, he's just a little kid. He's trapped at home. You know, I know how it feels because my daughter was kidnapped. So I've got to go and help him, haven't I? Using my skills.
So this is post saving his child already in Taken 1. This is just like a
so
side mission. This is Taken 1.5.
Yeah, in this shared universe, because people love shared universes. I suppose there was Taken first, and then Taken 2 and 3 I've never seen. Don't really care. And and then there's and then Home Alone comes afterwards.
Well, let's go through the rest of the traps that MaCaulay Culkin... Like, what is MaCaulay Culkin? Is he just kind of like sniggering in his little room while all this is happening?
Yeah, he thinks like, oh, there's 3 of them, but you know, I've got them. That sort of thing. Like, I got him with the feathers, and the other 2, I suppose the other 2 would just be murdered instantly by Brian Mills, wouldn't they?
Or just a bullet through the head.
I just like the idea that they walk in through this kick down door, and one of them slips over on a car, and then he looks up and there's just a gun to his head. And the other thief is already dead in the time it took him to fall over.
Yeah, so okay, right. So both robbers are dead now. And
both robbers are dead now, but Kevin McAllister is still like, well, I don't know what's happening, but there's one more thief here that I've still got to get rid of.
He's under the impression that he is one of the thieves. So all the traps that were supposed to work on the other 2 are now against Liam Neeson's character. So one of them being a cord running across the hallway, like a really tight piece of rope, just across the hallway so they can trip. I don't think he'd have a problem with that. He'd just walk over it, right? I think he's got eagle eyes. He's very particular with his set of skills.
But like you say, he's covered in feathers at this point. Because I feel like he skipped the doorbell thing. He skipped the cars on the floor.
Yeah.
But he's also been like tarred and feathered, essentially.
Here's how I'm picturing it. Because he kicked down the door, he also kicked down a bunch of other traps that were set up as well. One of them being maybe the slime or the sticky substance that was supposed to stick the feathers onto him.
Okay.
So instead of him being covered in feathers and all stuck to him, it's just kind of like True Romance. Where it's just like feathers everywhere. And
it's all in the air.
Just all in the air, and he's walking through with his gun. So he's not quite...
And he's firing bullets in slow motion through the feathers. Not at anything, but it just looks really cool. So we'll have that moment.
One of them hits the tarantula, so he doesn't get that in his face.
What about the tarantula?
Yeah. So he's just...
Maybe the tarantula's jumping at him from 50 feet away.
Yeah, he's just, for absolutely no reason, just shooting his gun randomly through the house because it looks cool through their feathers. And in the meantime, it's actually setting off all these traps. So he's killing two birds with one stone, so to speak.
Or maybe as he comes through, the tarantula jumps at him from 50 feet, roars, because that's what tarantulas do. And Brian Mills just steps aside and a paint can just smashes into the tarantula. And all he does is sort of make a half turn, and that's it. That's how good he is at this job.
And after the tarantula is dead, he has some sort of one-liner. What would that one-liner be?
Is he a one-liner kind of guy?
No, but I feel like if he's in an 80s movie or early 90s...
Yeah, I suppose he says a one-liner and then has a really confused look on his face.
He just says something like, how's that for having 8 legs? Or something like that.
Wow.
If you can come up with something better...
So Brian Mills is in an 80s movie. He feels like he has to say a one-liner, but also he's from the Taken film, so actually he's not very good at one-liners. Hey, what do tarantulas have? 8 legs?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. And then he just carries on walking up the stairs. But while he's confused by this one-liner situation, that's when he gets tripped over, because there's a wire at the top of the stairs, if I remember rightly.
Yeah. Oh, maybe that was the wire that I was talking about. So yeah, okay. So he doesn't walk over the wire because he did the stupid tarantula one-liner. He trips over, and then as a result, what else does he do? I'm not going to go through every single one of these traps. I think there's too many to go through.
So he'd fall down, and maybe it would be like a moment from The Shining that he looks up from his collapsed state and prone on the floor, and then he sees Kevin McAllister, like, not cycling down a hallway like The Shining, but he just pokes his head out of a bedroom door, and he's like, "I'm here to help you." And then, like, in that time, Kevin McAllister just like just skitters off, and it's at this point where
is Kevin McAllister kind of like a shadowy figure at this point where you don't really see him.
Yeah.
It's like one of those aliens from Signs. You don't quite see him. You just hear.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going for like an Aliens vibe where they're like 5 meters, 4 meters.
They're in the walls.
And so maybe, Brian Mills is our main character here now.
Okay.
And Kevin McAllister is almost the antagonist. And for the first time in his life, Brian Mills feels fear.
Yeah. He's met his match. He becomes taken for a ride. And then there's also the
coming this summer in '92. And Brian Mills is on a skateboard. Sorry, go on.
So yeah, we've got the iron attached to the string on a light bulb. So the idea was that they come into the basement, they turn the light on, and then the iron flies into his face. I reckon Liam Neeson trying to find Kevin McAllister in this scenario where he's somehow now turned into Alien.
Or like Jason from Camp Crystal Lake, just sort of going around murdering people now.
I reckon Liam Neeson will probably just shoot the iron out of the way. He's got a gun, isn't he?
I was thinking the same thing, yeah.
Home Alone in its nature was quite a family-friendly film, so they didn't really have weapons, did they, as such?
No.
And they were quite stupid and they were like bumbling idiots. Slapstick. But I think he just shoots. He either shoots the iron so many times that it just breaks apart, or he shoots the string and then the iron just falls down.
I like the idea of shooting the string. Although, if he's like really scared, does he just keep shooting the iron? Like the iron falls on the floor and he's still shooting it, and he's scared now. Yeah. He's got his gun, he's got his training, but nothing has prepared him for this wild ride.
And then later on, this iron is just in smithereens, and he starts walking down the stairs and he notices that nail that's sticking above the floorboards, so he starts shooting that as well.
But then, like, every little thing that could be a trap, like he hears a creak on a step. Shoots the step.
They eventually meet the kid, don't they?
I think so, yeah. If I remember rightly, they do get their hands on him.
But the first interaction that they have, like face to face, at least I don't quote me on this. I don't know if it's true or not, but it could be the time when MaCaulay Culkin shoots them in the crotch area with a BB gun,
Right.
Because he is in line of fire and he's like, oh, I'm going to get you, kid. And he shoots him, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't Liam Neeson just shoot him back?
But I suppose if he's still trying to help him.
Yeah. But then, like, at this point, do you think, man, this kid is insane?
Oh, he's just too far now.
I think he's better off dead, yeah. So he just...
Okay, so that's how this version would end.
No, it can't end like that.
It would end with Brian Mills killing Kevin McAllister, but he wouldn't feel good about it. He'd be a broken man.
Yeah.
He would still be like scared on his way out of the house. Maybe someone throws a snowball at him as he leaves the house and he starts firing back at them. Who knows?
Yeah. So the sequel is just him dealing with PTSD and just like going through years of therapy trying to get over the fact that he killed Kevin McAllister. Oh, it's taken a bit of a dark turn.
Or did he?
Or did he?
Now,
yeah. And then it just cuts
what
to
happens
him in the mental asylum, just like I didn't kill him. It was just all in his head.
He's still out to get me.
And the movie will be called Taken Home.
I like that.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You had a look on your face. You're like,
no, I do like it. No, I was like, should it be Taken Home Alone? Should it be Alone Taken Home? Alone Home Taken.
Take away.
Take away.
Home takeaway. Home delivery.
Home delivery.
Delivery man. Taken.
Home delivery taken. Taken delivery home.
Taken for the take. What's your idea, mate?
Anyway, so what happens now? Kevin McAllister has been dropped into the Taken film.
Okay, so if I remember correctly, the film starts off with Brian Mills. He's at a birthday party, isn't he? I think it was the daughter's birthday party. I mean, when was the last time you saw Taken?
Oh, a while back, but yeah, I remember it enough.
Yeah, and I remember the daughter was, she just turned 13. And I didn't believe that daughter was 13 for a second, because she was also the same actress who played the girl in Lost.
Right.
And she was like a full-grown adult. So I was just like, I'm not buying this.
Oh, are you sure she's there? I'm reading the plot synopsis here and it says 17.
Oh, she was 17? I thought she was 13. What was she acting like as a 13-year-old then? Like, because she wanted to be a pop star. I think Brian Mills buys her a karaoke machine.
Right.
And then she opens it up thinking like, oh, thanks, Dad. Great. And then he's like, am I so out of touch? No.
No, because I can kill people.
So we start off like that, and that's kind of sets up the relationship between him and his daughter.
Except this time, it's Kevin McAllister instead of Kim Mills. So Kim Mills has been taken out. 17-year-old Kim Mills. He no longer has a daughter. Kevin McAllister has been put in place. So he opens the box and he's like, wow, karaoke machine. And he loves it. And
he becomes a pop star.
Brian Mills is just like, I'm a great dad. And the end.
The end. Great.
But no, then Kevin McAllister gets taken.
He gets taken. But the way that the girl gets taken is that she goes to Paris. I think she goes to a U2 concert tour thing.
Yes.
And she's like, oh, I need to follow U2. Which isn't weird at all. But she does it anyway. And she ends up following this strange French man to, I think she thinks it's like a taxi.
They meet someone at the airport, don't they?
Yeah. She thinks it's a taxi service, and it's like, oh, very cheap prices, and then goes off with him, and then she gets taken.
Yeah, she gets to the hotel there, doesn't she? Because she's hiding under the bed.
So do you think maybe because Kevin McAllister, he's got this karaoke machine, becomes a huge pop star sensation in his own bedroom, and he decides to, maybe some guy hears him singing, and he's like, ooh, this kid's got talent, wink, wink, and then kidnaps him.
Right.
So he says like, oh, I've got a good record deal for you, matey.
Who is this guy? Hello, matey.
Pirate Records. He's just like, I'm going to turn you into a star.
Yar,
Yar.
good luck finding your son. You won't get anywhere without the treasure map. He's just got a map on a bit of parchment paper, and it's like, your son is here, and it's just an X. And it's just a desert. It's a desert island.
When Kevin McAllister gets taken, he has that infamous phone call, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Sorry, not infamous. Famous. I realize
Famous.
infamous and famous are two different things, isn't it? Infamous is becoming famous from something that you didn't want to be famous for. In this scenario, is it infamous, his phone call?
Nah, it's a famous scene
It's famous.
from the film.
It's a famous, right. So the famous scene of Liam Neeson's doing the whole, oh yeah, I've got a particular... And then he says, good luck. But this time it's a pirate voice, right?
Yeah.
Did you do the pirate voice?
Yar, good luck to you, matey.
And then he's on the plane rewinding it. Yar, good luck to you, mate. That's like the best scene when he's rewinding the tape.
Yeah. Well, I always had that. Did I tell you about that idea that we were going to cut in Tommy Wiseau from The Room?
Yes, you did.
And it was going to be instead of good luck, it was going to be like because he's all like, I will find you, and I will kill you. Don't plan too much; it might not turn out right. And then on the airplane, he rewinds it. And he's like, well, we'll see. Well, we'll see. And he's in a meeting. He's in a meeting with a bunch of guys, and the head honcho goes, ha 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 ha. And that's the moment where Brian Mills is like, I told you I would find you.
And this is in Pirate Land?
Oh, this is a separate film.
Oh, okay.
No, it could be. There's quite an intense moment where Brian Mills recognizes him, isn't it? Because it's a moment where the audience recognizes the guy as well.
Yes.
So maybe instead of whatever little quirk it is, it's some small thing that he recognizes, this time it's just him, and he sat down with a guy who happens to be wearing an eye patch. So he's like, is this the guy? And then all of a sudden he puts his hand on the table, but it's not a hand, it's a hook. I told you I would find you.
It's like, Yarg, you've been doing some good treasure hunting. And Kevin McKellar's just like, I don't want to be a pop star anymore.
Yeah, he's just in a cage in a corner. Help me.
With his karaoke machine. Nothing compares. Yeah. What's he singing? What's his go-to song?
Oh, do you reckon it's got to be a Christmas song?
Is Kevin McAllister in the 90s, or is he in like the 2000s? This isn't Christmas. This is just taken.
Oh, okay.
Unless you want it to be Christmas.
Well, I suppose it could be set at Christmas.
Oh, maybe that was a Christmas present, not a birthday present. The karaoke machine.
Yeah, that would work. And Kevin McAllister sings White Christmas in Home Alone. So maybe he's just singing that, but really he's singing it, but really, really depressed in a cage.
With the echo effect turned all the way up.
Yeah. Yar, sing that one. Sing that bitty for me again. It's a good ditty, that is.
So how does Liam Neeson get Kevin McAllister back? How does Brian Mills save him?
Does he get him back? See, I'm wondering if he gets that phone call from the pirate.
Where is this, by the way? Like, is this like I don't know why I'm picturing a conference room. And like the pirate is on one end of the table. Yeah, he's on one end of the table, and Liam Neeson's on the other side of the table, and then Kevin McAllister's just in the corner in a cage with a karaoke machine.
Because the pirate, he's invested his gold well, so he's got access to one of those really long boardrooms with the really massive tables
and that intercom in the center of the room.
Bring me your finest rum, and Brian, could I get you a glass of cucumber water? I can always get you a lime.
At that point, Kevin McAllister does that scream that he just had enough of the cucumber water. He doesn't want it anymore.
But I'm wondering, does Brian Mills get him? Maybe he gets the phone call from the pirate.
Yeah.
But because Brian Mills knows his son. In fact, Kevin McAllister is the perfect son for Brian Mills.
Because
I feel like he would train his son to survive.
And then it turns out the karaoke machine wasn't actually a karaoke machine after all. it disassembles and reassembles into a gun. or maybe
That
Kevin
would work.
McAllister. End of movie. No, how would you? do it?
And then there are opposite ends of the boardroom table, and Kevin McAllister's firing his gun, and the pirate's just got a giant cannon, and he's just launching cannonballs.
Just making holes left, right, and center in this.
yeah.
Hole in the ceiling.
There's like a close. It cuts back to him. It's like cross cutting between Brian Mills and what's happening in the boardroom, and it cuts to like a close up of a sales chart, and it like things aren't looking good, and then the cannonball just smashes it, and the fight's still going on.
And then like there's a little funny joke that the creators make, and like at the top of the sales chart it says there's a hole in the market, and it just goes boom straight through.
And Kevin McAllister's there with like he's got like a machine gun, like an AK-47 or something, but the pirate's still there, like deflecting bullets with his hook.
Yeah. And then eventually, I guess because he's cornered now, Liam Neeson goes up to the cage, just unlocks it casually because he's just left the key in there. He's not really thought this through that much.
Oh, I feel like Kevin McAllister's gotten out of this cage.
At this point, he's already gotten out. Okay.
I feel like Brian Mills, instead of saying, I will find you and I will kill you, he's just said over the phone, he says good luck to the pirate.
Oh, he's like...
The pirate's like, why are you wishing me luck? I've got all the cards, matey. And he turns around and the cage is just open.
Yarg, I should have checked that. And then he just scurries along.
Yeah, he hears, and then Brian Mills just says like "good luck" and hangs up on him.
Yeah.
So Brian Mills doesn't even do anything. He's not involved because he knows like good luck to you, mate. He's like good luck.
Just imagine that shot of just him go like, why are you wishing me good luck? And then you just hear, and he looks over to the cage, and the cage door's just like, just like slowly swinging open.
And then he turns around again, and he's tarred and feathered.
It's like, got me again. That sounds more like a TV show as opposed to a movie. Like that's the end of episode 1. I'll get you next time, McAllister.
Now, what's the TV show about? Is it Kevin McAllister being kidnapped by different people every week? There's like a kidnapper of the week, or
yeah.
But the pirate is just episode 1s.
What would the name of the TV show be?
Taken from Home Alone. Because he's always home alone when he gets kidnapped.
And why is he home alone all the time? What's Liam Neeson doing? So that's
because
so important.
Brian Mills is working as a bodyguard, isn't he? And a gigolo.
Oh yeah. He's Holly Valance's bodyguard. Do you remember that?
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't remember. I didn't remember it was Holly Valance.
Do you remember Holly Valance? She had that one song.
Yeah. To be honest, she's not really my sort of. It's not really my sort of music, is it?
Were you telling me you didn't like the pop hits of the 2000s, like S Club 7 and Steps, and what's the other?
No,
one?
I'm more into there's pirate ditties where there's a jug and maybe a ukulele or something.
There's one jug that goes ooh, 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 and a washboard.
Yeah, they did have string instruments, but they've all got hooks for hands, haven't they? So
yeah, so
the strings would break often.
So there would just be slide guitars, just
yes, slide guitars and jugs. And what did you say? A washboard. Perfect.
So it's like half country, half Hawaiian music.
Yeah, and a bell that they always play at the end. Ting!
Yeah. Ding!
With great satisfaction.
Yo! I'm going to take this child.
Oh, and then they just sing White Christmas. I be dreaming of a Christmas that's white. Yo ho,
ho, and a bottle of gin.
Gin? Pirates don't drink gin.
Yeah, they do.
They drink rum.
Oh, I think that's it. Really, we've done it. We've done both scenarios. Yeah. How do you feel?
And I think that would make sense that the pirates would sing about White Christmas because they rarely see a White Christmas because they're always in desert islands burying treasure.
Yeah, but that's just episode 1. Episode 2.
That's just episode. Yeah.
Yeah. Next week we have another like caricature that kidnaps MaCaulay Culkin. Who would it be? Some sort of cartoon character. National. Takes
an
him to
astronaut
space
for some reason. Yeah, takes him to space, and then Kevin McAllister thinks like, oh, this will just be as easy as the pirate, but then he tries setting up like a can of paint, and then he goes to throw it, and it just floats in zero gravity.
and it just accidentally like covers himself in paint. He's just like, oh
Yeah.
this is all going
The paint
wrong.
just floats. The paint just floats away, and the astronaut's like, "What was that? What was that?"
Just got
supposed
this
to be?"
image in my head of like the paint just going one direction and Kevin McAllister just going the other direction. Nothing happening.
Yeah.
Cool, man. I think that's the end of the episode. Well, if you guys liked this, then please listen to the next one. It will be out the next time we release another episode. If you also liked it, you can follow us on Twitter at chattingpitch. And so I have been Leslie, and
Yar, and I've been Matt. That was my astronaut.
yeah.
It's the same guy. He's just in an astronaut suit.
Yeah. So it's the same guy dressed up with different characters. It's just a pirate man. Like episode 3,
but he's
dressed
always
up
a
as, like,
pirate.
a businessman.
He's a cowboy.
He's a cow. Yarg, I don't see you around these parts.
But Kevin McAllister thinks like, oh, this guy looks like he's going to kidnap me, but no, it's not the same guy. It's just a normal cowboy. And then he's like, Yar, I be down here, Kevin. And he looks down, and the pirate's the horse.
Please, can we just write this into a TV show, just for the sake of it?
Well, this is why we're pitching it.
Oh yeah.
Once again, any high level Hollywood executives that like these ideas, you can pay us for them. We'll sell out. Clearly.
I'm looking at you, Joel Silver.
You love a bit of Joel Silver.
Or who's the other one? Jerry Bruckheimer.
Jerry Bruckheimer, Don Simpson.
Yeah.
Who worked with Jerry Bruckheimer on
Oh, did they?
The Rock, I believe.
Oh. They helped shape him to be the man he is today. Just one big rock.
One big rock. Just sits there.
Do you think before The Rock was called The Rock, he was just called The Pebble?
Mate, someone's already told that joke.
Mate, you love that joke. Yeah, I stole that joke, unfortunately. End of the episode. Goodbye.
All right.